Because our Kickstarter is going live, we're going to do a little less with forge building, and we're going to actually start showing a little more what these forges can actually do, because that's the relevant point to selling a forge. Comment below and let me know what you want to see it do. Don't go crazy. I'm not making a Final Fantasy Cloud Sword out of a forge this size. Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to take you through putting on a kiln wash and hot facing this forge, getting it ready to do some forge welding. You're probably asking, what is a kiln wash? What is a hot face? What are all these things I'm talking about? So we're going to go through those real quick while we're doing it. So the first thing we're going to do, this forge is one we built the other day. It is one of our Iron Dagger Blacksmith Supply kits. Our Kickstarter is now live. I'll include a link to it below. And I'll also include a link to the video of putting this together so you can see how to do it. So the first thing we're going to do is kiln wash. The purpose to a kiln wash is to get the forge hotter. Most kiln washes include zirconium or some other highly refractory material that allows it to re-radiate the heat and get it hotter. The three major kiln washes that I'm aware of on the market are ITC 100, Plistex, and Matricoat. Now, I have used Matricoat personally. It's a great kiln wash. It does its job well. And you can use it as a hot face, so it gives you a bonus there. I've used ITC 100. Great kiln wash. It will let your kiln get very hot. However, if I remember correctly, it's like 97% zirconia. It will not vitrify, so you can't use it as a hot face because it leaves kind of a, I don't know, it's like a powder that scrapes off over time. Now the kiln wash I am using is a high zirconia kiln wash, similar to ITC 100. It does have that issue, but I'm going to teach you a trick to help save it a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and put a hot face down. Now what a hot face is where your work sits while it's heating up. Now it's important with one of these because if you intend to do any kind of forge welding, you're going to need flux. Well, I suppose you don't need flux, but it makes life a lot easier. That flux will eat through these bricks like a hot knife through butter. And so we put down a hot face to protect these bricks from the flux and to keep everything well. It's also a lot easier to repair that hot face over time as it becomes damaged than it is to pull out one of these bricks and replace them. So we're going to go ahead and start with our kiln wash. Now this is about 2 ounces of the kiln wash we send with the kit. It is a high zirconia kiln wash, similar to something like ITC 100. I've gone ahead and pre-mixed this. This is about 2 ounces. We send 8 ounces with our kit. 2 ounces is more than what you need. And I don't know if you can see a look since I've pre-mixed it. You want to get this to about a sour cream-like consistency. And then I'm just going to go through and paint it on. But before I do that, I'm going to go through with some fresh water, and that's all it is. And I'm going to brush these bricks for a couple of reasons. Number one, these bricks are very absorbent. And so we want to get a little bit of water on there so the kiln wash won't just immediately suck in and dry out. And this is also going to remove any little dust particles you have and allow for a better bond with that kiln wash. And you don't have to be super clean about it. I'm just going to go through and be sure that I get all the areas at least a little bit so that at least I'm getting rid of some of that dust. Okay, now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to paint on the entire 2 ounces of this kiln wash. And that's all it is I'm going to paint it on there. I will rotate it as I'm doing so, and it will dry up fairly quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done, and I'll come back to you once it is. All right, guys, we're back. Now you can see here that I have finished painting on that zirconium kiln wash inside the forge. You can see how it's just a thin painted on layer, and you can tell just looking here at the edge. So now what I'm going to do, like I said, what will end up happening is this will turn into a very powder-like substance. I don't know how to explain it. This is in essence a porcelain slip right now. So we will not be able to get this vitrified. The forge does not get that hot. and that's why it'll stay in that powdered state. So in order to protect this, what we're going to do is, for the next part of our hot face, we've gone ahead and mixed up some of our refractory that we send. We send a 3,000 degree refractory. This is one from my local farrier supply. I like it quite a bit. I've used it, tested it out, it works great. Some of the other ones that are more standard and readily available are things like Mizu Plus and Castelite 30. You do want to make sure that you have a good castable refractory, not a cement or a mortar. Those are designed to hold the bricks together, not be your actual refractory itself. And this is designed for the purpose of refractory, and so it'll work well as our hot face. It will also give us some thermal mass. Now, it will mean that this takes a little bit longer to heat up, but it is going to maintain that heat a lot longer, and you'll be able to turn down your propane a bit once it reaches heat, because this is going to hold that heat. And the way it protects this is very simple. So now, this is about half a pound of what we send. We send 2 pounds along because this is what you'll use to repair your forge throughout its life. And we want to be sure that you have more than enough to maintain your forge and keep it going for a very long time. Forges are a consumable product. They do burn up over time. I usually go through and kiln wash and hot face my forges every about 100 hours of use, just so that they maintain a good working order. Now, you'll notice that there's water that has started to separate, and that is what we actually want. I'm going to take that water and just paint it right over top this zirconia kiln wash. Now you can see there on this one the difference in coloration. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the entire kiln wash over with this to help protect that kiln wash, and then I'll put on the hot face. So I'll be right back once I've got this all painted over. And again, guys, all I'm using is just the water that has run off from my refractory. Oh, and I should also mention, I apologize, I mixed this off camera. This and the kiln wash, you should always wear a respirator when you're mixing. Be safe, okay? I'll be back as soon as I got this painted on, guys. All right, as you can see, I've gone ahead and painted on that layer. And I did not use any of the rocks or cement. I just used the water that was run off from it. And as you can see, it leaves us with about the perfect consistency. That's sitting somewhere around a soft serve ice cream, and that's about what we want. So I've gone ahead and decided what will be the bottom of my forge. That is one thing with these Iron Dagger kits that is kind of unique, is you can decide if you're going to have a top mount or side mount burner. That's why we leave these like they are. You can go ahead and move them however you want and adjust the legs, or you can cut these off if they're in your way. Whatever you need to do, it's all about giving you some options. So this will be the bottom of my forge. Again, I have this about soft serve consistency. I'm going to put on somewhere between 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch layer. And I'm just going to throw it in there and trowel it on the bottom. And the only reason it's in there is to protect those bricks. And I know I could be using a trowel or something, but the wooden stick works just as well, and I got lots of them laying around, so. If you need to add a little more water, guys, if you drained more out than you thought you would when you were painting it on, just add a little bit and stir it up. You don't need to put on a respirator to add a little more water. It's only when it's in its powdered form that you really need that. I just want to get nice even coat throughout. I may be dropping some on that other side. I don't really mind. It's all right. It will clean up. Do make sure you clean it up before it dries, because it is a concrete, guys, and it will stick to things and become just a general mess to clean up if you don't clean it the right way. 1/4 inch throughout the entire bottom of the forge. And I'm just gonna let it sit overnight and cure. And then in the morning, I will go ahead and I will fire this up slowly. And what I mean by slowly is I will fire it, let it reach about 500 to 600 degrees, turn it off. And I'll do that about 10 to 15 times because I don't want to shock this castable refractory too badly. It will cause some cracking doing it this way because you're not allowing it to cure properly, but it's not all that big of a deal. You're using this as a hot face, so it won't really affect the efficiency of the forge that much. All right, guys, that is all for this. Thank you. I do want to tell you, I did mention our Kickstarter is live. I will have a link to that down in the bottom. And have a great day. Hit like and subscribe. We will see you next time.